Al, are you ready to get this started, my friend?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All right, everybody. Spoilers ahead, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to get into it when it comes to The Mandalorian. Season 2, Episode 4. Let us know in chat as you're coming in, and please drop a like if you would be so kind. Let us know in chat, out of 10, how would you rate the episode? Let us know in chat. Al, how would you rate this episode?
Man, I'm giving it a solid 9, man. Solid 9.
Solid 9 is pretty solid. I would.
Yeah, man.
I tend to agree with that. 9 feels right to me.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's a 9 episode. That's what I want to see. Following up what we got last week.
Yeah, agreed. So let me ask you this then: how did you think Carl Weathers did directing? Because
I thought it was a dope. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because like it's his first. I mean, I was super curious. I was like, how's this dude gonna do? What'd you think?
Yeah, man, I thought it was dope. I thought he really, handled his biz with it. I thought the visual representation was dope. The way that it was cut, it still felt like Star Wars to me, man. And I think the action scenes and the way they did that was real cool. It almost had like some elements of kind of like that throwback retro 80s vibe a little bit with some of the gunfights and stuff. So I thought it was dope, man.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Carl Weathers, man.
I know, right? That. Dude, there were some things. Okay. There were some things, Al, in this episode that I made me really smile, and I was like, wow, dude, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Like Carl? Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like he did some things.
Right.
One of them was with the speeders, dude.
Yes. Oh man. That speeder, like you said it when we were watching it. That's up there with one of the best speeder chases we've gotten in Star Wars yet.
I can't think of a better scene. I mean, with speeders, I really like the scene, obviously, in Return of the Jedi. The OG through the Forest of Endor has a lot of nostalgia to it for Star Wars fans. But this scene was like, what? Like from the jump, like the way it was. So they're coming out, right? The way that the camera swoops around them as they fly off the edge. The back half of them like catches, and it just looks so gritty the way it was going through. But then on top of that, there's a crash.
Mm-hmm.
There's a crash, and one of them like tail spins, and then boom, it blows up, and then they're coming through.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, so that was one of them, and then his direction on Gina when she's cleaning up the sewers down there. And by the way, what a great way to reuse a set piece, but like totally differently. You know what I mean? So they reused that set piece. Oh man, dude, bro.
That choreography though.
Yeah.
Like that was and that's something like you can only do with a Gina Carano, right?
Agreed.
That's the only, like you can't grab, as athletic of an actress as you can find, you've got to have like straight MMA training to be able to manhandle and like body up some of those people she was doing that to, man. That was crazy. I was like, that's exactly how you want to see somebody like Gina get down.
Yo, I was like, dude, oh my God, this is exactly case in point why I think she's so good in the show. The physicality, you know what I mean? The physicality. Her, and then they threw some wrestling moves in there. The odes to the wrestling in this show are really cool.
Oh,
but
man,
she's got him on the back, and she's like blocking the shots, and then bam! And then she hit him with a Rafiki too, dude.
Yes,
that's
what I'm saying, man.
You know? Yeah, it was really cool.
To cut that up and put some Jim Ross in it, bro, because that was some wild stuff, man.
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was cool. So I felt like he did a great job. I didn't think it was like perfect. There were a couple moments, like particularly when they were running out after the meltdown. The pacing there wasn't perfect. I was like, it felt like a little weird, like some of the cuts, and you don't exactly feel the tension of that scene build perfectly. So it was a little bit weird there. But another sequence that just blew me away visually, and I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but This season looks so much better than season 1. Am I crazy, or does it
No,
look?
hell no, hell no, bro. Like the way that they're able to kind of encapsulate like the scope of every scene. Like when they showed up on that base and you were like overlooking that ridge, like that looks like that's on location somewhere.
Right.
Like that doesn't look like they're doing that on a set.
Right.
And just the fact that they're able to harness that technology now and the way they're using that in this series, this season especially, like we just keep saying it every time we see it, but this is like on par with like theatrical release type shit. Like this isn't what you come to expect from a streaming show. Like
Bro,
at least not me. Not me.
Looked, if not as good, legit better than a lot of the stuff I saw in the sequel trilogy on the silver screen. Like the scenes with the TIE fighter, it looks so crisp. The I love, it's such a simple concept. Like what if there was like a speeder, or like in this case that fortified battle speeder or whatever, in a like canyon, okay? And then TIE fighters are flying kind of low in the canyon trying to blast at this thing. It's such a cool but simple little setup, but it looks so beautiful, and the way it's shot was incredible. I mean, it harkens back to like Millennium Falcon and the OG stuff. It really did it for me, dude. I was like, that scene was very well paced. So I would say in certain places, particularly in the action, Carl Weathers did great. And there was some stuff that he didn't do necessarily perfectly, but overall, man, I'd give him an A-. Which is pretty good. So that's kind of off the bat is just his sort of thing. So should we just jump right into the craziness, dude? Spoilers.
Let's do it.
Spoiler
time. Let's get into it.
So everybody should know by now we're talking spoilers, okay? The dealy-dally is, and we'll get into the super chats in just a little bit, okay? The dealy-dally here, ladies and gentlemen, is, of course, the explanation. Well, we don't really get necessarily an explanation, but we get a tease of Moff Gideon, what they were doing with the child, okay, with the clone bodies. But we also get a shot at the end, which we'll start there, Al. We get the shot at the end that many people believe are dark troopers, that those troopers are going to be what are known as dark troopers. Let's start with the dark trooper thing. What are your thoughts there? What did you think of the scene, but also like what's your speculation?
Yeah, that man, first when I saw that, I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? Like, what is this dude getting ready to do? And it's just like they almost had kind of like a little Vader flavor to it a little bit in the helmet area, and I was just kind of like really trying to check out like what exactly he had, and I was like, what is these like elite stormtroopers? But then you see they're kind of droided out a little bit, and it's like, wait, what the hell is this? And so it was just like my mind was just rolling, bro, and I'm like, what the hell am I looking at, man? And it's just like then I just started thinking about it, and I'm hearing everybody, we're in the chat, and I'm seeing everybody talking about it being these dark troopers, and I'm just like, man, they going full on sweaty with this shit now, bro. Like
the show is so sweaty. It's so sweaty. That's a very fucking sweaty thing, dude. That's incredibly sweaty. Like the dark trooper, when I have to like look it up.
Yeah. That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I have to look it up and be like, what's this shit? You know what I mean? like then like it's like that is sweat, dude. That's sweat,
man. That's what Star Wars is, though. Like this is what you get, and this is the way it should be, man. And they just every one of these episodes, they just keep hitting you with these nuggets, man. And it's like, bro, it's building, dude. It's building.
Okay, so this episode could have so easily not been like that. If you take out the scene with the cloning stuff, the M count stuff, which we're gonna get into. Take that out, and then you take out the dark trooper stuff. This is what they would have said the filler thing, right? They would have said this last season or whatever with episode 2 that this is filler.
Right.
It's so clearly not filler, but it's not just not filler. They put in some bombs, dude. Like they put in some little bombs.
That's it, man. That's the whole thing. And it's like the way you just and the way that they're doing it is so beautiful because it's not overt. It's not something that they're making a big emphasis, but it's a casual conversation in a recording. And it's just like you almost could miss it if you weren't really paying attention to what he was saying. But it's like, you know, cats like us, we sitting there listening. It's like, did this motherfucker just say M count?
Right.
Wait a minute,
dude.
Like, hold on.
I think they're so clearly doing that on purpose because they want to captivate the normie crowd, right? But then they also want. I think this is what they want. They want like when the normie girlfriend is sitting on the couch with the hardcore boyfriend. They want those moments where the boyfriend's like, "Oh shit," and she doesn't get it because they want to create that sort of curiosity and that entry point, which has always been successful for Star Wars, and it's really, really cool. Yeah, man, this was juicy. So let's talk about these troopers, okay? This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is deep cut. This is legend stuff. It looks like he has probably at least a dozen, maybe a couple of dozen of these things.
Yeah.
There was a technician, and we're trying. By the way, this is one of the biggest mysteries. Chat. If anybody in the chat can help us figure this out, it would really help. Oh, and also please smash DOS like button. That would really help us out as well. If anybody can help us out with this in the chat, it would be great. There's a technician, and he has a symbol on the back right shoulder. It's a weird symbol. I can't place it in anywhere in Star Wars. It looks almost like a cross. Check it out. It's very interesting. Cross type bullseye thing. Okay. I really am curious about that symbol. But regardless, there's a technician helping him out. It looks like these things are like pretty much ready to go. This looks like they're off the assembly line. They're ready to go. What do you expect to see from these things?
Man, this is the thing that I immediately thought about. In the next episode, Mando goes to meet up with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Moff Gideon shows up with these dudes and she wrecks these motherfuckers. Like,
oh my God.
That's the first thing I thought about was you want to suck in normies and have them immediately fall in love with Ahsoka. Put her on the screen with 6 of them dudes and watch her just dispatch every one of them.
Well, you know what?
And like, dude, it would just be insane. It would be so insane to see her, like his pride and joy, because then that immediately lets normies know that Ahsoka's nobody to fuck with. Like that just lets you know right on top. And you set these dudes up, you show them, and then they come out. These dudes come out, and you show, dude. That's the first thing I thought about was, oh yeah, Ahsoka's gonna have to deal with that. She's gonna have to deal with that.
Dude, that's so perfect because they're tracking them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, dude. What?
Yeah,
like, oh my. Okay, so yeah. So these are the perfect. These are the perfect fodder, dude. These are the perfect fodder. They're gonna put in this fucking deep cut lore, crazy EU troopers, right?
Yeah,
and then Ahsoka's just gonna cut through them, dude.
Just cut through they asses. Like I can just see it, man. And it's perfect because like I said, it's like you said, it's perfect fodder. And you wouldn't get the same impact if it was just her and, you know, a swarm of stormtroopers, right? It's not going to hit the same.
Yeah,
but you show these cats.
Dispatch of them, yeah. You need something that's undispatchable, right?
Right. And even do a scene in it where Din tries to take them on and they kind of knock him out of the play.
Yeah.
Like he gets sidelined because they wreck him. And then Ahsoka shows up, like comes out walking through coming through the forest or something like that, man, with the hoodie on. Bro, man, look, they know what they're doing, man. Filoni and Favreau know what the hell they doing, man.
Bro, yeah, and now I'm just thinking too, because you might have like the whole Ghost crew there, right? So we might even get Ezra Bridger fighting some of these things.
Man, if they
if the
whole Ghost crew shows up, I don't know if I'm gonna make the recap after that. I'm gonna faint.
I know, right?
I'm just pass the hell out. And that's Thanksgiving. Like, I'm a faint, bro. It's gonna be too much to handle. I don't know if I'm able to work out.
Back to back, dude. I want to see it. And I want to see Sabine and Ezra jetpacks, lightsaber, friggin' Oh, I want it all. I want
Give it,
it all. Okay.
give it to me.
Okay. So that's the one thing that's incredible. We'll probably circle back to that because you got me very hyped on it. But let's now talk about the clone scene, the material that they were gathering from the child. This was sort of established in season 1, but you get a more clear picture of it here. What's your interpretation of the scene? What do you think was going on there?
Yeah, man, that I just got so many Snoke vibes from that. Just like you said, you called it out. That music sounded eerily similar to his theme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They started, and then the whole thing, when you look at it, it looks like, you know, what we saw in episode 9 when Kylo went over and saw, you know, we saw those vats or whatever at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
and
totally.
you saw these multiple Snokes. I get the same vibe. It almost looked like the same thing, man. And I feel like what this is setting up was a part of, you know, Palp's contingency plan.
Yeah.
And that this was kind of, you know, the next step for him. And Gideon was helping to kind of forward that whole thing. And so that's immediately what I thought about. You know, where Baby Yoda comes into this, then I don't know necessarily then if he's a clone, but rather, you know, just a force sensitive being that they went and found.
Yeah.
Like one of the force sensitive children they went and rounded up.
Yep.
And the one with the highest midichlorian count.
Yeah.
Or M count as they dropped it in the episode. Like that's another thing. Just something that's subtle, right? Like everybody gets triggered when you start talking midichlorians. Like everybody gets antsy because you get into that and it's just all this craziness. But it's like you simply refer to it as an M count. And everybody, all of the sweaties know what you're talking about.
Right.
You don't harp on it, but at the same time, you give us a reason to geek out and be like, oh shit, they talking about midichlorians again. Like I
know. It is. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's a good point. It's pretty brilliant that like they would use a seemingly controversial thing to literally get us hyped. It's kind of ironic, but you know, Filoni's the master of that. He's the master of taking the things from George's wildest stuff, which is really the prequels for the most part, and interpreting it and sort of delivering it out to us in a way that enhances it. I mean, even him just talking about the prequels enhances them. You know what I mean? Because you're like, damn, dude, this dude's on another level with this. Like he's totally wrapped into it like that. So I thought that was really, really cool. So my thing was like Star Wars is a really big, like the music and the music cues are very important in Star Wars.
Right.
And up until this moment, everything that Gorison has done, I think, at least in my memory, is unique to the Mandalorian. Maybe like a little bit of Tatooine theme, like some, you know, here and there. Yep. But like for the most part, pretty much just Mandalorian. This was the first time that I could like instantly recognize a piece of music from somewhere else. And it's only because, small confession here, I listen to that Snoke theme way too much because it's dope.
Oh yeah. Exactly. And I mean, we spent so much time trying to analyze what the hell was going on. I remember we were even trying to tie that back to the whole scene in Revenge of the Sith with the Emperor and Anakin when they were at the opera and shit.
Yes.
And like people were like, it's like, we broke that whole riff down like over and over again, man. So it's like the moment you said it, it was like I turned it up and I'm like, oh shit, he's right. Like
it's absolutely his theme. Yeah. Now, to your point though, that is also used in that Palpatine scene. So they're very similar, those two themes. But the next thing, it starts out with the music, but the very next thing we see is stuff that to me looked like a complete visual representation of what we see in Rise of Skywalker with Snoke. Now, I haven't been reading that comic that's been dealing with the younger Snoke, but but I believe the thing, it's like a really weird situation, but I believe that Snoke is his own being, but like he looks like a druid. He looks like all foresty and like a druid earlier on, like when he first runs into Ben and Skywalker and all that, right? And so I don't know what the timing is of all of this, but I do feel like Gideon is obviously working on the contingency plan, And part of
Yep.
that is creating Snoke. Now, here's the thing. Was Snoke originally an attempt to create a vessel for Palpatine's spirit? Did it eventually become a thing where they were like, no, we're going to just create a Force user that then will be a puppet to Palpatine's will? Like, I still need a lot of answered
Right.
for me there. But I'm not mad that Snoke, if it is Snoke, because some people don't think so, and this is what always happens.
Right.
Like, basically, like after the next few days, we'll have a very clear idea. The fans, the fandom, it's very cool. Everybody's very good at picking it apart, figuring it out. But for now, I do think it was Snoke, and I'm not mad about that at all.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, man. Like, if you're going to, and it was something we talked about on After Dark earlier tonight too, right? It's like, how are you going to marry this with the sequel trilogy, right?
Right.
And this, in my opinion, is the best way to do it, with these subtle kind of references that help to solidify the picture that we already have. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's filling in the gaps. It's no different than what we got with the prequel trilogy, and how that kind of gave us additional info, or even like with Clone Wars. One of the things that we had with excuse me, the prequel trilogy movies was, they felt like there wasn't enough development from Anakin. You didn't see his transition. Well, you got that supplemental, information from Clone Wars, and it did a really good job of fleshing that out. And I think that's the route that Filoni and Favreau are taking with Mandalorian, is they're using it to plug in a bunch of these gaps and to connect all of this stuff, but in a way that's not like right on the nose. And that's brilliant to me. Like, these kind of subtle little references, dude, like, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm talking about.
It is like, I don't know how else to say this, bro, other than to say, we've been right. We've been right. We've been right, and we've been on this. Because in January, I was trying to tell motherfuckers, the Star Wars MCU is coming. I was hearing from so many people. I was talking to so many sources, and I kept hearing the same thing. I kept hearing they've learned from their mistakes. Kevin Feige is helping them. They are going to really do what they should have done the first time, and that is properly solidify and plan the connective tissue. Everybody always freaks out at me. I say connective tissue a lot, Al. I don't know if you know this. So everybody keeps a running tally.
Don't try to do a drinking game with that. You might.
Yeah.
You might have to go see a doctor.
You won't make it. But yeah, so the connective tissue is super well thought out. This is meticulous, dude. This is meticulous.
Dude, yes. This isn't, pass the baton as we go. We were planning this out before we even started filming a single episode of this series. Like, we already know the next 3 to 4 seasons of how we want to play this shit out.
Right.
And it's like, I really think that it's like you said too, man, like, they're building this up for some kind of a showdown. I think we'll get teases of it with, Gideon showing up, but I think this is all going to build towards something huge, and we just ain't ready, man. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we're ready for it.
I don't think people are ready for it. Look.
No.
Man, I don't know how to explain this to people, but it's like, okay, you take the guy that did Iron Man 1. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously very close with Feige, has been with Disney now for years and years, has helped them do stuff. You watch the gallery, you look at how this guy approaches technology and the problems of doing some of these animated adaptations, the creation of the volume, the concept of that, putting it into practice, all this stuff. And you're just like, man, like, this guy, dude, this guy is so sweat. I remember thinking about hearing the story of how John was the one that was super adamant about this show. And when he had the spec scripts, he was trying to get Filoni to read them. Do you remember this?
Right,
And Filoni just had a lot on his plate, and he didn't read them right away, right? And so John kept like harassing him and was like, yo, like, and like sending him like pictures of him in Star Wars socks and shit like that, like just trying to remind him. And so it works. Dave checks it out and loves it. Dude, I'm telling you, like, it's like boys and their toys. After that happened, they went out and they were like, let's map out the whole thing, dude.
The whole damn thing, dude.
The whole thing.
They probably, and the thing about it is, I wouldn't even be shocked if they didn't pitch to Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, and the whole nine, like the next 150, 200 some odd years of Star Wars. Like I would not be shocked if they planned it out that far. Well, and not even knowing that necessarily if what they planned out was going to get, they were going to ride with it or not.
Right.
But that, like, just because of the way that those dudes are with it, that's it. Like, that's, man.
Well, here's the other side of this that's really crazy. And this is speculation. Okay. So I just want to warn everybody. By the way, please smash the like button.
Smash that like, man.
Come on, y'all. All of you people that are watching right now, I understand it's really early. Just move the finger up, down, to the right, to the left. Click that like button and it'll be okay.
It only takes a second. We'll get through
this together. Anyway, here's the way I've been thinking about this. This is very speculative, folks. So it's 4 a.m. speculation, okay? So don't hold me to this, but this is just me thinking out loud. I wonder if an inability for maybe certain creative teams within Lucasfilm, like maybe let's just say Kathy and her team, right? So I wonder if an inability to solidify let's call it a plan A, then created the opportunity for what we'll call a plan B, which after the monumental success of season 1, plan B becomes a lot more viable. And I'm wondering if much earlier this year, or maybe even late last year, a decision was made to start doing this Filoni-verse stuff. But what's so funny is I think just like Marvel, what 2020 has done is made them like kind of double down on like a thing. It's almost like they were always going to do this, but now they're like, oh, let's put way more eggs into this basket. Let's take this the whole way. What do you think about that?
Right. No, I think you're definitely on to something with that. And I think, like you said, with everything that's happened with 2020, it's kind of like, okay, well, we already have this. How can we jack this up even more?
Right.
Because I think that's exactly where they went with it. And to go even further with it, I think they that might even explain why they were so kind of nonchalant, if you will, with the Rise of Skywalker and kind of just wanting to get it out and get it over with, was because they realized that they had this coming and they were like, you know what? We realized where we screwed up. We're going to let Filoni and Favreau handle it from here. Let's just get over this hump. Yeah. Let's give people some time to deal with that. And then we'll hit them with Mando season 2 and all will be right in the world. And then, like you said, 2020 hits and Filoni and Favreau are like, okay, so what else can we add? What other things can we sprinkle in here? How can we speed this timeline up a little bit or bring some of the stuff that we were wanting to save for season 3 or season 4 into this current season? And that's what we're getting now. It's just like this crazy, crazy souped up version. And I'm so here for it. It's crazy. Like,
bro,
I'm live.
This is the way I'm seeing it.
Near 5.
Bro, this is the way I'm seeing it going down in my head, okay? Just picture this. Go with me on this journey. What you got? Go with me on this journey. On one side of the table, and it's a big fucking table, oak, okay? Doesn't matter, but it totally matters. Big table. One side, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, okay? The other side, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Now, they walk into this meeting like two little boys with their folders, their sketches, their toys, okay? And they proceed to tell Kathy and Bob an incredible story of this just ridiculous interwoven Star Wars canonical thing that they want to do. Huge thing. And like two parents that love their children but are like, you're doing the most right now, Bob Iger and Kathy were like, how about we just do Mando to the Ahsoka show? We'll see how things go, and maybe we'll do this, and this, right? But then,
Right.
and like Dave and John kind of like gather up their things and like walk out, and they're like, I guess that's okay, you know?
Right.
But point being, once 2020 starts happening, I bet they get a call and they're like, so that other stuff you were talking about.
Right. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, like, what do you think? What, like, that's the way
Yeah.
I think. That's kind of what I think happened.
Yeah, and I mean, and to even solidify your point even more, what the hell did Disney just announce about a month back about their restructure and where they were going to put their focus?
Disney
Like
Plus, yeah.
we were sitting here and we were talking. Remember when, once Rise dropped, our whole thing was, what's the next big thing? What is the movies that are coming out? Was it 2024,
Yeah.
5 and 6, when they were talking about doing that, and we were talking about the whole Game of Thrones cats and them trying to find a director for the next set of movies. And the whole time, that might be why they just kind of let that conversation die, because they knew that, they were going to come this route. And then when 2020 hit, it's like, you know what? We've got so much. Why don't we just push all the chips to the middle of the table and say, run it?
Right, exactly.
Let's just run it. And
well, that's what you do. Like when you have leverage, right? When you have leverage and you have an advantage, you go all in. Like that's what you do. Like that's literally what you do. And so like they have such an opportunity with this. But the thing so let's talk about this for a second. I've seen this sort of thing happening, man. It's not like super widespread from what I can tell. And chat,
Yep.
Man, I would really like to know what the chat thinks about this, because there are some people out there that are saying like it's happening too fast. Mandalorian is just now a cameo show or like fan service show that's setting up all this stuff. It seems like there's sort of a small contingent of fans that are upset that all this stuff is happening and it's happening too fast. What do you think about that? What's your take?
Oh, well, with all due respect, miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I'm here for it. But no, like seriously, it to me, this is the episodic version of what we got with the MCU. Because what did they do with every individual MCU movie was like an introduction to a larger group of superheroes. Or you would have an Iron Man movie or a Captain America movie where you introduced another character, or you brought in these other characters who ended up getting their own individual spinoffs from their appearance in that one movie.
Right.
And so they're basically taking that formula and they're applying it in Star Wars in a way that is readily accessible for normies and sweaties alike. And that's the difference. It's like you're watching this and it's almost like at two different levels.
Right.
You got people, like you said, the normies are watching it and they're getting entertainment because, these episodes for the most part have plenty of action. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're sitting here waiting for or a show that's dragging on for 35 to 40 minutes. And so, and they do a damn good job of making sure that they make Baby Yoda as adorable as possible in this show.
Right. Oh, and he was
like,
with the hands up, up. Like a roller coaster, man. I was like,
that was wild, bro.
Yeah,
like
wild. Yeah.
Just the subtle humor they use with that baby, man. Like my scene was when he was in the classroom and homeboy didn't want to give him the cookies, and he was like, "All right, homeboy, watch this. I'm about to snatch your damn cookies.
Right?
What you gonna do now?" And it's like,
I thought dude was about to get force choked.
Yeah, like
when he was like no, I was like, oh, he's gonna get it.
He's about to get it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, man. It's like that. That's the stuff that keeps the normies checked in and wanting to watch.
Correct. Yeah.
And then they start asking little questions here and there, like you said. But for us, it's these little references, these hints, these inclusions from legends, and it's that stuff that really hooks us. And this is what the diehards were asking for with the sequel trilogy.
Right.
We weren't asking for them to give Luke like 5 lightsabers and have him show up and just kick ass and take names, but we wanted these references that pay off our investment in this franchise. And the fact that we sit here and watch Rebels and Clone Wars over and over again, we know the movies front like the back of our hand. We want to see these references. We want to understand how all of this shit connects. And this is, like I said, this is the MCU formula and it's being adapted to Star Wars, but in a way that is easily digestible for everybody. And I don't see like how anybody can have a real concern with, this being too much too fast or being a cameo thing, because to be quite honest, the first season and into this season, who's really the bigger draw in the show from a normie standpoint? Mando or Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda.
You know what I'm saying? So like, exactly, it's Baby Yoda. So the show isn't centered around the Mandalorian anyway.
Right.
He's just the placeholder.
The draw certainly isn't. Yeah.
Right. The draw is not. Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing, is it's like to those people that have that concern, I would just say, has there been a point yet where you felt like there's been overkill in this series?
That's the thing, right? It's like I understand that argument on paper, but like what I don't understand is the show itself is executing, like, to me, firing on all cylinders.
All cylinders.
So it's like, I don't understand that. And this episode, I think, is case in point, because this is like the quintessential MCU. And the reason that is because I can just like kind of feel how this episode was created. And it feels like they probably just made a bomb ass episode as it was, with like, people escaping the heist, him helping them shut it down and all that, right? But
right.
The two scenes that are like the juicy, like, what do they call them? Like sizzlers or something like that. There's a word for it in the industry. But like, they have these two scenes that kind of don't really change the episode at all, but give a wider context and pull in and draw to huge significant things, not only from the deep lore, but from the show's own history. You know what I mean? Right. So that's that quintessential MCU connective tissue. And I think for all of the fans that are concerned, or that were concerned, or, possibly still are, that they don't want to marvel it. We don't want to marvel this up. We don't want to MCU this up. I see that all the time. This episode, to me, is the perfect example of why you shouldn't worry about it, because all it's going to be is those little bits on top, like a little bit of flavor that ties these incredibly significant things together.
Exactly. And I'll give you an example for me of the difference between what we see what we saw with the sequel trilogy and what we get in Mando. That whole brief explanation that we got that hinted at, a bigger plot going on in the whole Snoke references and whatnot, that would have been like a 5-minute scene in one of the sequel trilogy movies.
Right.
They would have gone out of their way to kind of over explain that.
Yeah. Linger on it.
But linger on it. And you didn't get that. You don't get that with this series. Everything that they drop in, like, going back to the episode where we had one of Anakin's engines, pod racing engines, being used as a speeder. They could have, really drawn that out and pointed that out, but it was real subtle. And it's things like that like make this show so enjoyable, because you get those deep cuts, but they don't hit you on the nose with them. It's like almost a blink and you miss it type thing. And that's what I love, because that rewards the people like us that are staying up till 3 a.m. to catch the episode as soon as it drops.
Right.
It makes it worth it. And that's the thing for me that I think is just so incredible, that they keep finding a way to pull that off. It's amazing to me, man.
Yo, not to mention that, because I totally co-sign everything you're saying, and I'm getting more excited. This is ridiculous. We're very lucky. But not only that, but especially the week after you name drop Ahsoka, and to not go right to Ahsoka, and yet still create some headlines and create some YouTube stuff, because like, I'm gonna break this down to the cows come. This is crazy. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, and this isn't even the Ahsoka episode. You know what I mean? And to your point earlier, it creates more anticipation of the Ahsoka episode. They're being tracked. They've got dark troopers. What?
And here's the thing, though. Think about this. I'll see that and I'll raise you one. We're 4 episodes in, and it's this damn good, and they haven't paid off Boba Fett or Ahsoka yet.
Yo,
Like we
that's
haven't gotten
true.
either one of those payoffs yet. Like, dude, that's the crazy shit.
True, though.
We get one Boba reference and everybody lost their damn mind after that first episode.
Bro.
And then and it's like now you get the Ahsoka tease in 3, and we all kind of figured we weren't gonna see, her in this episode, but none of us were expecting to get this kind of lore like shaping.
Dude, it's
content.
so sweaty.
Like,
it's so sweaty, dude. It's so sweaty.
Yeah.
Puts a big old smile on my stupid nerdy face.
I'm right there with you, Doc. I'm right there with you, man.
Shit. Should we get into some Q&A? Should we knock out
Let's do
a little
it,
bit of Q&A?
man.
I know we got some super chats. Guys, we're going to shift into Q&A now.
It's jumping in there, man.
Yeah. If you guys have a question that you really want answered, drop it into a super chat. If not, just drop it into the chat. We totally understand. Not everybody's got loot. It's all good.
All good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
So let's start with Darth Nablus. Okay, I managed to sync up both your stream and Theory's stream when Mando flew at the beginning of the siege. You both said dope at the same time. I died. That's awesome, man. I saw you super chat that to Theory as well, which is awesome. Yeah, that's fun. Let's see here. Aaron says Weathers did a great job, so we'll give him a pass for the on-camera set guy at 1854. What?
Oh, yeah, bro. I saw that. The chat went crazy when we first jumped on, dropping that 1854. So I ran back to the episode, and I got it frozen on my screen now. And sure enough, you see Mando, Grief Karga, Kara, and I can't think of old boy's name in the back. But then off to the far left, there's a cat in jeans and like a green tee just chilling back.
Yo, that dude's gonna live in infamy now. That dude,
bro.
He's gonna be like the pink shorts, dude. Holy shit,
bro.
That's
like,
awesome, dude. Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
I was cracking up. I was like, oh man, that's too funny.
That's great, dude. That's great. Well, you know what? It sort of proves that like winning solves everything, right? Because think about this: like, had this been Game of Thrones, like we would have roasted that, with the little coffee cups and all this. Yeah, dude. So like now we notice this thing and like I don't think anybody's even shook. I mean, think about it. Oh. His super chat's literally like we'll forgive him. You know what I mean? That's pretty wild. Thank you.
Exactly. That's what's up. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, that's wow. What else we got?
Dan the Man says, watch Gunji just tear those things apart. Yo, Dan the Man with the Gunji reference. This is the Wookiee Jedi from Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty incredible.
That's what's up.
That'd be pretty incredible.
Look, man, I wouldn't be ready. My head would explode.
Yeah,
man.
I don't think I'm ready for that. Enrique Rubble says, "Do the Death Troopers say Roger Roger too?" No, I don't think so. That would be great though. But
hilarious.
They're not Death Troopers. They're Dark Troopers. So maybe we should take just a second to clarify this. So Dark Troopers, so they've been in a number of different Legends things at this point. They've been in some video games. They were in Dark Empire. They were in they were in a couple different stories. Okay, there are different versions of them. Sometimes they're totally robots. They have been robots and clone cyborg mixes, which is so cool. And I hope that's the way we're going with it because we got the Camino shit and all that. So they've been full on, heavily armored robot things before. Apparently, sometimes they use the Force. I don't know the full story on them, but that's what we think those are. They're like these 7-foot-tall Terminator troopers. Yeah, it's going to be pretty freaking incredible. So they're not Death Troopers. Death Troopers wouldn't need a technician like that. You know what I mean? Right. Ooh, okay. So Mike says, hey guys, the symbol is the Imperial Department of Military Research. I threw it in the Discord with a pic. That's dope. Okay, so that's the symbol. I'm gonna take Mike at his word here until we know otherwise. So it is apparently the Department of Military Research. What are your thoughts on that, bro? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, somebody dropped it in the Discord, and I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely the symbol that we checked out. And I mean that lines up because again, we really haven't seen that in the new canon, and as many of these Legends references as we're getting, like it makes perfect sense that that's where they would pull that from, right? And that would be a division that that Doctor and that Moff Gideon is in control of, because that's exactly what they're doing is Imperial or research for the Empire military research, and it really makes me wonder. It says military research, but it goes back to that whole Snoke thing. Like, the fact that they're talking about M counts, it's like, yeah, that's on some next level type.
Right.
That's bigger than we just want to create like these dark troopers or super troopers or whatever you want to call them. Like, that's beyond that. Not the way that scene was represented. Like, that's deep. Like, there's a lot going on there. But no, it's really interesting with that symbol and seeing how big of a role that department and that whole organization plays going forward.
Dude, yeah. No, I agree. So I think this is something, and I'll touch on this just for a second, then we'll continue to knock out these supers. Right now, I think one of the big questions is, what were they using Baby Yoda's material for, the midichlorians? How much midichlorian material did they have prior to that? Were they using it just to create Snoke, or are they also using it in the Dark Troopers? What exactly is going on with all of that? But I'll tell you, the one thing it does tell us for sure is that Gideon was incredibly high ranking in the Empire. We sort of already knew this, but it feels like we get a shade of that mystery pulled away every week now. We get the fleet mentioned last week, right? And now this dude might be in all the episodes now. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. But here it says the trending brick here says Dark Trooper based on Ralph's Vader concept, maybe. Ahsoka fights them off, cuts them up, a face reveal underneath. It's Hayden's Vader clones. Give me 1 second. I have to literally walk off camera. That's...
Oh. What? I don't even know what to say to that shit. Like, if they pull that, if we get Hayden Christensen, Vader clone troop, you know what? I'm gonna just call it, and I'm gonna say it. Filoni's the GOAT. Star Wars is back. Damn everything else, because that's how you bring it back. That's how you take shit to the next level. Like, if that's what happens, I don't even know what to tell y'all, man. Like, I don't even know. It's gonna be some shit.
I'm gonna tell you this.
That's how we going down.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. We had speculated about something similar with the Sith Troopers. We had a lot of fun with that. And I don't talk about this a lot, but actually one of the biggest FUs from Disney with regards to Rise to me was the Death Troopers, or the Sith Troopers, sorry. Because they made them the entire focus of San Diego Comic-Con. It was this huge merchandising thing, a big push. I thought they looked dope. I thought it was great. And then they do Dickie McGee's acts. They do nothing. They do less than fucking Phasma, and that's embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was really stupid. But one of the things that we had speculated about was clones of Anakin. We were like, dude, if you want to really terrify, like people say, like, what scares the Jedi, right? Like that was the whole thing with the High Republic. Like, what scares the Jedi? You know what scared me if I was a Jedi? A friggin' army of clone chosen ones. If that's not enough to get your butthole to pucker up, I don't know what is. That's ridiculous. And on top of that, if this show does something so wild, so bold, when, all respect to JJ, but if JJ wasn't bold enough to take a single fucking chance in Rise of Skywalker, and then this show is going to do something that crazy, dude.
Talk your shit, Josh. Talk your shit.
Bro, like, that is, man, look. I mean, I don't know. Dude. I don't think that's going to happen, but just the thought.
The thought of it, right? And imagine that. And Ahsoka's the one that unmasks him. And imagine the throwback scene, or they do a callback to Twilight of the Apprentice when she slices his mask off on Malachor. Like, bro, I'm thinking about the whole.
Bro, don't do it. I'm gonna have to walk off camera again.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, I'm gonna be like, excuse me, I need a moment, sir.
Dude, I mean, like, honestly, that's ridiculous. Seriously, these are all things that are possible. You know what I mean? That's the craziest
Right.
part. Is these are all things
That's
that are possible.
facts.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay,
Facts.
okay. Ooh, great point here made by Darth Nablus. Says no more trailer footage. That's a great point, Al.
That's it.
We know
Exactly. We're done. We've gotten
moving forward.
else. And how perfect is that?
Beautiful.
How
Beautiful
perfect
thing.
is that? We get to the second half of the series or the season, and we have no idea. We haven't, and like I said, we don't know what Boba's play is gonna be. We don't know how the Ahsoka thing is gonna pop off. We still got to find out. Hell, where's Bo-Katan gonna pop back up at?
Right.
Like, when is that gonna happen? Like, there's so much. Are we gonna see Frog Lady again?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's just so much, man. So much.
This is wild, dude. Super wild. You know, I'm
Yes,
thinking
it is.
so much about that sort of shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of shift that they had talked about, you know, halfway through the season, and now you realize that you don't even know what the back half looks like. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that are set up seem like they could come to a head in a pretty spectacular way. So yeah, man, that is wow. That is pretty crazy. Yeah.
And I'll say this. I think so far the way they've laid out this season is flawless.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think the way that they've laid this out, these episodes, the way that they structured this season, and the way that the choices that they've made, I don't think they could have done it any better. Like, I don't think, because you have built up now the anticipation for these last 4 episodes to be the thing to watch.
Yeah.
For the next 4 weeks. Like, you don't want to have this spoiled.
Man.
You want to be sitting there at home watching this unfold every week for the next month.
Bro.
Like, oh.
And I'll tell you this. If they don't, and we know that they do because they're making these moves, and we know that they realize this, but here's what's really interesting is I think the fans should appreciate this as well. The Mandalorian has been dominating social media and the pop culture conversation for weeks now. Okay. Now this is to the level, as far as I can tell from the numbers that like we're doing and that, you know, that what I see online, this is to the level of like the week leading up to Rise of Skywalker or Star Wars movie, whatever Star Wars movie. This is equivalent to the week leading up to and the week after a big Star Wars movie. And it seems to be not only sustaining, but building. Maybe a slight dip from week 1 to 2, right? But now, like, significantly just building. For Disney, who has had a PR problem with Star Wars, okay? And it felt like there were times when we were heading towards Rise of Skywalker that every single day there was a negative story. And not like a super reaching, crazy story like JJ literally came out and said some whack shit, or like Kathy said something ridiculous, or this thing was leaked on Reddit, Ben gets yeeted off the cliff, whatever. It just felt like over and over again, bad news, that's what we were talking about. Okay, now we are in the complete opposite of that, where nothing but hype, love, excitement, you know, a little bit of like, let's cancel this person or that person, but for the most part, really positive, really great stuff. That
straight up.
And this is the other thing that I think people don't fully appreciate, is that not only translates into good dollars and cents right now, but it also leads to more Star Wars Disney purchases down the line. It leads to more merchandising purchases. It leads to more of, you know, buying the next Star Wars book or whatever. So like, this is so important for Star Wars as a brand as we head towards hopefully a big turnaround for the brand. And it's pretty crazy to see, man. It's pretty, I mean, and the thing that's great for me is like, it's on the back of great content. You know, how else would you want it? You know, you'd want it off of the back of great content, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, man. Like you said, we had building up when we were building up to Rise, you had that buzz, you had that, you know, anxiety or anxiousness, but it wasn't as positive as this.
Right.
You know, because like you said, it was like the leaks that we were getting, the things that we were reading, it just gave you more reason to be worried.
Right.
It was like, oh, well, is Hayden Christensen going to be in the movie or not? What are we going to see? And it was just like, you had that buildup, but it wasn't like this. This is legit buildup. Like, they found a way to kind of recapture in a time where everybody's binge watching every damn thing, right? We all want to get every episode. They have found a way to satisfy the viewers in an episodic format. Like, this is like 20 something years ago when you were sitting, when everybody was waiting for Thursday night when XYZ show would come on, and we all wanted to sit down because we wanted to know what happened this week. Like, they've done that in a streaming era with Star Wars, bro.
Yeah, it's
like
nuts.
That's insane. As much as I love Star Wars, I never thought I'd see a day where Star Wars had this kind of mainstream appeal across so many different demographics, like that, and that the content was good. Because you can get people, you could throw Baby Yoda out there and have people hooked and want to see that. But for them to be able to weave such a story with all of these elements, they're bringing legends into it.
Yeah. Al, you're freezing. Where's your audio? Your audio went away. I don't know. I'm gonna read some super chats while you sort it, because I saw it. Or I heard like a ring, and then like it went out. Let's see here. The Zoratora says, "Love you guys. Always have the best theories. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support." Thunara says, "Did anyone see the Dark Troopers?" Heck yeah, man. We just talked about them. Pretty freaking cool. Jared Williams, just a 99 cents. Right on. Appreciate it. JT, the pressure is on, Filoni. Yeah, man. But I feel like he will rise to the occasion. Alex W. here says, IMDb has Sasha Banks credited for the next episode. Could she also be playing Sabine? She is credited as her real name, not Casca Reeves. IMDb is not necessarily a very trustworthy source. I believe people can go in there and edit it, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Yo, are you there, Al? Can I hear you? I cannot hear you. Let me disconnect the call and try to call you right back, or re-enter. Now, what's up? Give me a little audio.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
All right, now we're good. Yeah.
Good, cool. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That was weird. Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, so we'll probably wrap it up soon here, guys. Please, if you have any last-minute questions, please put them into the chat. Yeah, man, I just feel... Man.
It's... Yeah.
Yeah.
And smash that like. We got y'all in here. Hit that like button,
smash that
man.
like button. I saw my guy was in there said, I literally just thought they were in the same room until now. Yeah, can someone get the Discord link into the chat? People want to join the Discord. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but this is insanity, dude. This is insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, it is. And the thing about it is, like, we were talking before the episode. We're both groggy as shit. You're waking up. I'm still going like 18, 19 hours strong.
Yeah, man.
And then we peep the episode, and now it's like I could sit here and watch that whole damn episode again.
I know.
Like, I could just sit and watch it again. Like, this is what I had been waiting and hoping and wishing for, was this kind of a return to Star Wars, man. Like, to finally get to this point. And I have so many questions.
Yeah,
about where we going from here, man. Like, these last 4 episodes are going to be the stuff of legend. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
crazy,
dude.
Man.
All right, let me get the Discord link. I think all the moderators are asleep because everybody that's normal is asleep by now, Al.
Oh, you're right. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, do you think you can throw it in there? Because if I touch it, I'll screw up the streaming thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, dude, this is, and I've sort of gushed about it a lot, but to be honest with you, wow, this is just such a cool time to be a Star Wars fan. I'm really happy for the fandom. I know there's still some tension out there. I know there's still some things that probably need to be worked out, but winning really does solve everything, and they are winning big time. big
Oh
time.
hell yeah! Oh hell
with
yeah!
this show. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, there's the link right there, guys. You go
There
ahead and
it
join
is. There it is.
And if you are interested, we don't really have like a Patreon or whatever. We do channel memberships to support the channel. You can join the Nerd Vengers, get a cool little badge by your name. You get the emojis. You get 10% off merch. You get access to the behind the scenes streams, including the watch parties, which we watch The Mandalorian together every Thursday night. So consider joining the members today, because we do a lot of streaming over here.
Damn right.
We
Damn
think
right.
you will like it. Tristan says, y'all have my dream job. Hey, look, it is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It has its ups and downs, but it is pretty cool. And we're happy to do this for you for sure. Jay Legends, $10 super chat, said, what did you not like about the episode? I'll go first. Just pacing. There was a couple moments that I felt like the pacing was a little bit off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was just a pacing issue for me. I wasn't necessarily crazy about the blue guy being in there, but he wasn't terrible. Didn't really distract me too much. Mostly just slight pacing issues. What about you?
Yeah, I was just you stole my thunder a little bit. The blue guy, really, I wasn't a fan of him in the episode. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like he didn't really fit in that type of an adventure with them. It just didn't take me out of the episode. But other than that, surprisingly enough, man, to be honest, I thought there were certain scenes where Carl Weathers just didn't bring it.
Yeah, like I would agree with that, actually.
In the action, especially in some of the action scenes.
Yeah.
And I think it honestly, you know, has to just do with age with Homeboy. I think just him being an older gentleman and trying to get out there and be as spry as like Mando and Cara Dune and everything. Like it didn't come off the right way. Like in certain instances, it wasn't something that, you know, took me out of the show at all.
Right.
But that was the one thing that I did notice, was it just seemed like in some of those scenes, he didn't look necessarily as believable, you know, slinging that blaster around as I would have thought.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually. I wonder if it had something to do with him directing and just being a little less into character, because he crushes season 1. So, yeah, I agree with you. And also, Jay Legends, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You're a Nerd Venger now.
You are a Nerd Venger now.
You're a Nerd Venger now. But, yeah, no, that's pretty much all I would say is slight pacing issue. You're right about Carl. He didn't necessarily bring it. And then the blue guy was a little whack. But again, I'll tell you the one moment to me, and I love these moments, and I hope they never stop. When they landed on his cruiser, that's Star Wars humor.
That's Star Wars humor all day.
That's it. That's
all day.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
So yeah, man, that was real cool for sure.
Damn right. That's exactly what you want to see out of Star Wars humor, man. Like the way that they handled that, beautiful. No complaint whatsoever.
Yeah, man. No complaints whatsoever, man. Okay, let's end on this. Give me your prediction for next week. You've already talked a little bit about it, but yeah, give me your prediction for next week.
I think they're gonna end up going to meet up with Ahsoka. I think Gideon's going to ambush them. We're going to see these dark troopers, and we get the money shot, or the money scene is Ahsoka dispatching these damn things like it ain't nothing but light work, and us geeking out about watching Ahsoka just tear these damn things to shreds.
Yeah, man.
Like that's what I'm looking for after this episode. I want to see Ahsoka handle some business, and I want to see her, you know, step up against these dark troopers, and please let them whoop Din Djarin's ass. Not that I have anything against him, but you got to set that up. I got to see them like handle Mando so that the normies can get a grasp for how dangerous these cats are, and just how powerful subsequently that Ahsoka is.
Yeah,
like that's what I want.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. They need to establish that.
Yeah, we need to know right off the rip that like Ahsoka ain't nobody to mess with.
All right, bro. You ready for my prediction?
Lay it on me, man. What you got?
Okay. So Mando is gonna go meet up with Ahsoka. Okay. and they're gonna have this crazy dialogue. They're gonna start talking about the Force. They're gonna start talking about Gideon. Gideon's gonna pop up with not only the Dark Troopers, but like a fleet, and like it's crazy, like it's like bad. You know what I mean? Then, the Ghost crew like gets set up. They start getting ready to battle, but it's like Thermopylae, right? It's like freaking 300. Like they are not like the odds are against them, right? So then all of a sudden you're gonna hear a transmission, and it's gonna be like on your left, and then freaking Bo-Katan's gonna come out a hyperspace and be like, we found out that the Empire was coming for you. Now we're gonna fight off that. Boom, and then all of a sudden Boba comes out of nowhere.
Oh man,
yeah. And then like him and Bo somehow know each other or have history or something. And so then like Slave One, a bunch of Mandalorian ships, including the cruiser that they just stole, and all that. They're all gonna show up. There's gonna be this massive battle over Corvus. It'll just force Gideon into a retreat, and we'll see how badass the people are that we have. And then the final shot will be Boba Fett taking off his helmet, lighting up a cigar, turning to the camera and saying like, do you like that shit? Stay tuned for my solo show, bitch. And then just fucking walks off. Let's go!
Let's do it. Hell yeah. I'm here for it, bro. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Man, I am here for it, bro.
That was nice. All right. Well, that was a good stream.
I'd say so.
Yeah. These early morning streams are a little bit wild. So yeah, we're doing the best we can. Thanks for hanging out, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey man, for real. Appreciate y'all, man.
Indeed. All right, everybody. That's gonna do it for us. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.